Alright, welcome back to another episode of the Stitch Method. Today we're going to be discussing the NeverLost pentatonic in a different way. Now, the whole premise of this NeverLost system, when I brought it to the Stitch Method, was to show you that there are patterns that travel through this instrument. And the NeverLost pentatonic really was about combining the five pentatonic shapes with what I call a spinal column, something that you can move through, and kind of like kids' blocks, where you can stack them on top of each other, but with a touch of, one touch they can fall apart. And that's kind of what happens when we're soloing in the boxes. It's hard to get to the next box, or like, where am I, how do I see it? And this was to help your fingers and your mind kind of connect them all. But at the same time, there are many different shapes that you can quote-unquote never lost through the pentatonic. And this one I happen to find a lot in the blues. So I'm just going to nickname this one like the Blues NeverLost pentatonic. But it's so important that you understand you need to know like all of it and even more. And well, actually, let's just get into it. The original NeverLost pentatonic, which if you haven't seen it, it'll be linked below, was a scale, or is a scale, that uses the same pattern. If I was doing this in A, right, you use the same pattern. You put your first finger on the root note and you repeat the same pattern. You gotta come up with that B string. That darn B string, man. Alright, so that's the whole premise of it. Now, the thing is that if you're playing in just this NeverLost, we get the same sounds. We'll get the sounds of that particular finger movement. But if you watch my Eric Clapton video, Clapton uses the same pentatonic notes, but differently. What he does, instead of putting his first finger here, is he puts his ring finger here, and he gets this pattern. Now, before I do it, just listen to the notes. Alright, and here's the same exact scale played differently. Now, why would we possibly even fathom to use this when we learn this? And the answer is in the statement, or in the sentence, or the story, which is, music is the sound of the same notes. 12 notes at maximum, the same notes. Usually, if in your song you're hearing 7 notes at most, 7, 8 notes. And when you think about the arsenal of music that exists in the world, it is the method in which you blend these notes together, move to the notes, get to these notes, that gives songs a different sound, using rhythm and technique. Excuse me. So if I'm playing in the blues, and the most important thing that you want to really concentrate on is the fact I call this the Blues NeverLost, is that a blues scale from now on, you want to know a blues scale usually has a flat 5 in it. And where that is 1, flat 3, 4, flat 5, 5. Alright, you have it'd be A, C, D, and E flat, and E. And that's a very important very important note to the blues. When you're playing, it's a passing tone. We use it. We don't stay on it a lot, but it's definitely in our lines. So when you're playing the original NeverLost, if you were to play this blues scale in it, up to that, you can do the whole thing. Watch the video. You can hear that blue note is going to be very present, whether it's a hammer-on or plucked. And the way that Eric Clapton plays his scale, not just Eric Clapton, but a lot of players, is that they blend the 4, the flat 5, and the 5. And believe it or not, all those notes are in there where you just heard, but you can hear the difference in approach. Alright? And right there is a little aspect of music that we don't consider, which is how, the different way in which we get to our notes makes our music. So now let's take this pattern really quickly and discover it. And we have not a lot to do, but we have some things to do. So this blues pentatonic, or NeverLost pentatonic, is going to put you with the ring finger here, right? And there's your root note. So you have 5, 3, 5 slides to 7, 5, 7. And then you're on the root note with your ring finger, you do the same thing. Now the B string. You put your first finger here, and then your ring finger. Now you're still on a root note, okay? And you start here, and we're out of room. And let's just talk about this little leg right now. So this is the first part of your Blues NeverLost with your NeverLost pentatonic. That's the catch. Is now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play a little blues backing track in A. And the whole thing is that you got to understand what the notes are going to sound like in the way in which you get to them. If I'm playing the blues like that, and I want that sound to step down, I'm going to use this shape, this form. If I want it to sound smoother, I'm going to use this shape. So here's a little blues with me blending both shapes together. Here you go. That just in the fact that I know there's multiple ways to get to the same notes, that's what makes music. If you keep playing the original NeverLost pentatonic, you're going to have that stepping stone sound. And what we want to do is learn how to get all this stuff blended so you know your options in real time when you're playing in a band, or your options for when you're writing a guitar solo, how to get to your notes. So now let's just go over. You have the first leg. Okay, there's your root note. Your root note now is in your ring finger. And now here's your root notes on your ring finger. And now we actually end up in the same place, that form 3 pentatonic. Now you do have your options. Again, I'm referencing my NeverLost pentatonic. It'll be linked below if you're lost at this point. Watch that. Okay, you're going to come down the form 3 pentatonic. 12, 10, 13, 10, 12, 9, 12, 10, 12. And now look, your ring finger's on the root note, and you repeat, of course, the same blues pattern. And now, here's your root note. We're coming against the B string. I hate it. You know, we all hate it. Use your first finger to get there. And there's the whole thing. I forgot to mention, this whole thing lesson came spawned from my student Glenn, who he loves the blues, and he was like, well, how do we make my pentatonic more musical? And I said, well, you got to start blending your notes. So I was showing him this, and like his playing just really took off. So I hope it does the same thing for you. Now, we're not done. What you want to do is you want to now be able to see both pentatonic patterns at any point in time. So I'm going to play a little bit more blues, and I'm going to mix and match, but a couple of things of advice. This form 3 gets tricky, right? Because we're locked into the sound of... And you might not want that, so what you can do is when you run out of room... you get right to that root note. So instead of coming down, just go right for the root note on the A string. All right, sorry about that. Doorbell rang again, and my dog started barking, but I got my Amazon package. All right, I don't even know where it was. I'm not rewinding. The tape just kept going, so I was just about to show you when you come up. I think this is where it was. The Blues NeverLost, you know, this blues pattern. When you get this note, right? You can come here and reach for that root note here if you don't like coming down that stepping stone. And that's or that pattern 3. So now I'm going to play a blues pattern. I think that's where it was. And we're going to incorporate both scales, the original NeverLost and the Blues NeverLost, as we call it, whatever, where you're blending that 4 and 5, and just that act there is going to make things sound a little bit different. So here we go. Let's see where we are. Yeah. Oh, okay, there's the 4 and the 1. I just pick up the track. 1, ba, 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 boom, 5. Here we go. So I'm gonna stop this. I could just keep on playing. The point is now you have your options about that flat 5. That's what this all is all about. You can step through it in the original NeverLost, and you hear that all the time. You can blend it, like Clapton, John Mayer, even Stevie Ray. They all do this both types of moves. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too chaotic. Sorry about the doorbell, but I got my muffin pans. All right, bye.